So we have a very, very poor friend named Bob. And so this is just how poor Bob is. He owns a bike business that generates only 10 plus 2T dollars per year. So if Bob's bike business was around for a really long time, it might be okay. But like right now, how much is Bob making when the business starts? Well, he is just making 10 plus 2 times 0 equals $10 per year. Kind of awful, right? So if he ran his business for a whole year, he might make about 10 bucks. At t equals 2, is he doing much better? Well, he's making a little bit more at that point, right? So he's making $14 per year, but the situation has not improved that much. Now, so the question we're going to ask is, what is the present value of Bob's profits over the next 2 years if you assume this interest rate, right? And so what that's asking for is like the lump sum that's equivalent to making kind of money at this rate over the next 2 years and just dropping it straight into the bank account. So let's kind of identify what each of these things talks about, right? So this 2, this is our capital M, that's our maximum time. This 10 plus 2t, that's our S of t. And this 5% is our R. And so the equation for present value is the present value is equal to the integral from 0 to m, which is 2. And then in the middle we'll have S of t. Remember your parentheses, 2t. And then the rest of it is e to the negative 0.05 times t, not 2. You leave the t alone. You don't mess with the t, remember that. And so this is the integral we need to evaluate. Now at this point, again, you can just plug this into your calculator, and that's probably the safest thing to do here because you would need to do an integration by parts on part of this. So I'm just going to assume that's how you want to do this, and we'll come up with a number, about 78 cents. Okay, so that means if you got $22.78, dropped it into the bank account at t equals 0, let the interest grow, you'd have the same amount of money at the final time as you would as if you had this kind of constant income stream where you're constantly dropping in money, constantly getting interest. Kind of a neat way to quantify how valuable this income stream actually is. Kind of a more common question that we'll be interested in is if Bob deposits all of his profits into the bank, kind of what we're talking about, how much money is he going to have at that final time? So this is asking about the present value. This question here is asking about my future value. Now sometimes problems will ask you about this future value first, and if they do that, remember that you need to first find your present value and then you multiply it by e to the positive r times m. So in this problem, the present value is about 22.78. You shouldn't round until the very end. And then e to the 0.05 times 2. Now if you go ahead and plug all that into your calculator, you're going to get about $25.17. So Bob is very poor, but he's happy. He likes fixing up bicycles, and so hopefully he's content with life. But the big message you need to learn from this is that we have those two formulas, and just being able to identify what S of t are, what present value is, what a future value is, and what a rate is. Sorry, I'll let you look at this a little bit more. Is really kind of the key to being able to solve these problems.